In May 2018, Jeff Bezos made around $191,000 a minute. If you were given his bank card, and given 10 hours to spend, how would you ensure that when you gave the card back his balance had decreased from when you received it? Join a MLM scheme. I'd buy my husband a Harley Davidson and a house on his name so he can have another house for myself and a couple more to leave my kids. I'd also pay for the kids' college tuition in advance and set a trust for their master's degrees. Set an amount that will let us eat for the following decades so whatever my husband makes he can save. Also would keep some so I can have something to fall back in case of need. I'd pay my mom for my college education that she provided. Also would set up at least a couple of businesses with consultation to be sure they'll succeed. Then I'd pay for everything my grandma needs. Then take care of her family. Lastly, I know a couple decent ONGs and charities that would benefit from a donation. Also would pay for college tuition for kids that get accepted to college but cannot afford it and make sure they have enough for school supplies, food and transportation. I'd buy Amazon stock. Make a computer that can run Crysis. I expect to fund about half of it with the money. Break a bone in America and then go to the hospital. Kind of a bullshit number. It's just based on the Amazon stock. By this logic he can make $1 billion in a minute by an announcement going well, or lose it by smoking weed on a podcast. Donate a ton more to Australia, and donate a ton to other environment-saving options. Use it on microtransactions for mobile games. Charge him a very, very hefty sum for a 10-minute consultation on why he should never let me anywhere near his bank details while making a very large bank transfer from his account to mine. Buy a game and use all the microtransactions. Buy a couple textbooks from the college bookstore. Buy 11.5 million copies of Brewster's Millions. Buy the Lego Millennium Falcon. Check if that's enough to see a doctor anywhere in America. I would invest in cleaning the ocean. I would give my money to a lot of charities and I would probably buy something nice for myself, my friends and my family. Maybe put the rest on my account. Bernie 2020. You'd have to spend $114,600,000 just to break even, so $115 million to make it decrease. After my own selfishness. A new car $20,000, $40,000. I can think of at least 100 charities that would be getting an easy 1 million. Then I'd just walk around and give away money, or go to shelters and give away money, and pay off so much medical debt for so many people. You got Venmo? Cool. What's your info? I've lived off $18,000 a year. $1 mill would afford me $50,000 a year for 20 years. And since I'd already bought a house, my financial responsibilities would be utilities, food, and property tax. I wouldn't stop working, but I'd be able to take jobs for the life experience instead of working to live. It would be peaceful. I'd buy huge areas of forest in the Amazon, Indonesia, wherever actually, and also hire people to protect it from being cut, burned down. Ooh, and a nice pair of warm socks would be nice. His bank card would go down if you spent $1. His stock value went up, not his salary. Spend it to educate people on what net worth means, and that when you hear that somebody is a billionaire, it doesn't mean that she has billions sitting in their bank account, but it is rather the total worth of all her assets. Go to local hospital. Start paying unsettled debts. Go to education authorities and clear every student debt. Go to the DMV and pay off all outstanding tags. Go to bank. All pay all overdraft fees for those whose accounts have never seen more than $5,000. Go to housing. Pay everyone's assorted fees. Clear late fees for Section 8 etc. Go to the VA. Clear all medical debts. Authorize all treatments and pay for them. Give everyone with an Amazon account the equivalent of Prime for 5 years. Give everyone a lifetime subscription to Pornhub. Buy houses for my closest family and friends in my hometown of Vancouver, where the cheapest houses surpass the $1 million mark. Next, I'd drain the rest of his bank account to end-of-life care for Canadians. I've seen 2 grandmothers pass away in the public health system and one wasn't pretty. I do not take being a Canadian for granted, but wish end-of-life care was much nicer than some places give. Not that any of those people were unkind or did a bad job, but I believe at the end of someone's life they should have access to their own room when family and loved ones can be by their sides at all times. Easy. Take a family of 4 to Disneyland. I'd just transfer it all to my bank account. Post his card info on social media. Invest in an MLM scheme. That should definitely work. Go to a movie and buy all the snacks I like. Said reduce the balance. Not bankrupt him. Maybe if I'm feeling real bad I'll go to 2 movies. Double the snacks. I'd pay his taxes for him. I would take his bank card and I would socialize healthcare. Buy any successful company, institution whatsoever. Easiest way to spend $1 billion. Transfer all of it to another account and slowly spend it from there. Bet on the Knicks. Get Wall Street bets to manage my portfolio. Is it inaccurate to say Jeff Bezos did not necessarily make that money? From my understanding, he doesn't have a salary of several $1 billion. He owns a majority share in the company, which is worth hundreds of billions, and constantly growing. I think this distinction muddies the public dialogue quite a bit. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Sink as much money as possible into green energy supply, wind and solar, developing better batteries for storing said power, fund tiny house building projects, communities for homeless people, fund community housing projects for low-income earners, pour funds into supporting people with disabilities, pay in advance for massive food drops for the starving animals in Australia affected by bush fires, pay the volunteer firefighters, pay for all the water to be purified after the ash goes into it, maybe fund a pipeline from the tropics of Australia to the drier regions, give money to farmers affected by drought so they don't lose their farms, homes, livelihood. Well, to be pedantic, the money he made was in the increase in value of Amazon, so his bank account would see none of that increase. So I guess I'd just go buy myself lunch, and give his card back at the end of the day. Cocaine and whores. Post the card details on 4chan and tell them to buy what they want. Invest it in Eskom here in South Africa and SOC that holds the monopoly on energy generation. You can invest his entire net worth and it will disappear in 6 months. If I did the math right, that's about $114 million for 10 hours. I'd probably pay off a bunch of student debt, then get a pretzel from Subway with the leftover money. Pay off my student loans, my mom's medical bills and parent loan, our credit cards, any bills my boyfriend and family has, and my friend's student loans. Invest. Create a retirement portfolio and account for my mom. Buy a house outright. Buy all the parts and paint to fix my 69 Firebird, 64 C20, my stepdad's 65 Impala, and my mom's Mustang. Pay for my stepdad to get the materials to re-roof the house, as well as the materials to fix a lot of what manufacturers messed up, didn't do properly. He can do the labor and I can help him. Buy tickets for my family and boyfriend to go see our family in Malta for a month-long trip that includes stops throughout Europe. Then go on a book, sticker, video game, clothes, makeup, shoes, purses, etc. spending spree. It might not be a huge dent, but I'm sure I could make one. When you're broke, you spend a lot of time imagining what you do with that sort of money. Pay off as many people's college debt, loans as possible. Buy a shit ton of tech for videos. Pay all the taxes he owes.